All right. So check this out. The Quran's take on Christianity is wild in a way that's actually kind of respectful and confrontational at the same time. Wait, so this is how it actually sees it? The Quran treats Jesus as a major figure, not some side character, but it refuses the idea that he's divine in the same way Christianity does. Jesus is honored, miraculous, born of Mary, a sign, a messenger, yet not the Son of God in the theological sense. People don't realize this part. The Quran gives Mary serious spotlight. There's even a chapter named after her. That alone flips a lot of expectations for people who think the Quran only argues with Christianity. So what are the big overlaps? Both traditions praise moral behavior, compassion, charity, caring for the poor, honesty. Both revere Jesus' ethical teaching. Both insist on worshiping the one true God. If you look at the moral framework, there's a lot of common ground. Do good, be humble, help others. And that's not accidental. The Quran frames itself as continuation and correction of earlier revelation. So it positions Jesus as part of a prophetic line. Abraham, Moses, Jesus, all pointing to monotheism. But the differences, they're deep and consequential. Christianity, broadly, says Jesus is God incarnate, the Son who redeems humanity through his life, death, and resurrection. That's huge. Salvation by grace, Jesus' atonement. The Quran flatly rejects that metaphysical move. It says the idea of God having a son is inconsistent with strict monotheism. So instead of incarnational theology, the Quran emphasizes submission to God, righteous deeds, and God's mercy as the path to being saved. It's more about obedience and divine mercy than metaphysical union. Here's a kicker. People argue about the crucifixion. Christian teaching anchors everything on the crucifixion and resurrection. That's the scandal of the gospel. The Quran's narrative is different. It denies that Jesus was killed in the way Christians claim. The text says it only appeared that way and God raised him up. That raises all kinds of questions. Was it a substitution? Was it a theological statement meant to protect prophetic honor? Scholars and folks debate. But the crucial point is that the two scriptures handle the historicity and meaning of the cross in radically different ways. So this is how it actually sees it? Yeah, where Christians see the cross as the center, the Quran pivots away to emphasize prophecy, signs, and moral law. Another surprising bit, the Quran recognizes earlier scriptures, the Torah, the Psalms, the Gospel, but it also asserts they were altered or misread over time. That's not just historical point scoring, it's theological. If revelation gets corrupted, then a new corrective revelation makes sense in that worldview. Christians, on the other hand, generally hold to the authority of Scripture, though there's lots of internal debate about interpretation and translation. So you've got competing claims about textual reliability and the nature of revelation. Philosophically, this is fascinating. Christianity's incarnation answers the problem of how God can relate to suffering. God becomes human and redeems. Islam, as represented by the Quran, keeps God absolutely transcendent and uncompromised. Prophets are human exemplars and conveyors of God's message, not divine toggles. That leads to different spiritual psychologies. One emphasizes personal relationship with the divine through Jesus. The other emphasizes submission, law, and a communal covenant with God mediated by prophetic teaching. Culturally, the influence is massive. Christian theology shaped Western art, law, hospitals, universities, but also produced certain hierarchies and assumptions about the cosmos. Quranic perspectives shaped legal frameworks, devotional life, and social norms across a huge swath of the world. Again, overlapping in ethics, but diverging in metaphysics and ecclesiology. Both became lenses through which massive societies formed identity. Let me throw some examples out there. In the Gospels, you get parables that emphasize inward transformation and forgiveness. The Quran also prizes moral tales and legal guidelines, but it's often more direct about communal law, fasting, prayer, almsgiving. So the daily religious rhythm looks different. People don't realize this part. The Quranic Jesus performs miracles to healing, raising the dead, but always as signs authorized by God, not demonstrations of a divine nature. That nuance matters. Also, the Quran calls Christians people of the book. That's not some insult. It's a legal and theological category that allowed engagement, marriage, and dialogue historically. It's like saying you have scripture, we disagree, but you're not outside the conversation. That's a surprising dimension, not pure polemic, but a mixed posture. Respectful, critical, and boundary making all at once. Philosophically, again, final judgment looks different. Christianity tends to focus on faith and grace as the key to salvation. The Quran emphasizes accountability, a balance of deeds, and God's mercy. That has big implications for how responsibility, ethics, and hope are framed. Which one feels more existentially honest to you? Is a God who becomes human more relatable, or a God who remains utterly other more compelling? Both answers change how you live. All right, so people like debates, and this is ripe for that. But at the end of the day, the Quran doesn't just mock Christianity. It engages with it, wrestles with it, and preserves reverence for Jesus and Mary while staking out a radically different metaphysical claim. It's like a dense theological conversation across centuries, part nod, part disagreement, part rewrite. It makes you wonder how much of religious conflict is about texts and how much is about identity and power, wild stuff.